Right. Did anyone has opportunity to go through what we did in the past? I mean, do some practice about it. You know, most of you should have gotten your computers, do some practical hands-on on it. Anyone has already gone practice just to create a Jira account and just do some practice of what to side by side what we're doing? Because this is going to be your day-to-day activity at the job. So you should understand what this is all about, the terminologies you use in Jira Scrum management processes. This is not about the technical aspect of it, it's about the management part of it. It's not recommended, it's not mandatory, but it's recommended. You should know that. So if anyone that has any, I mean, goes to hands-on practice with what we've been doing, the class, anyone, do anyone have practice? Because also give you some opportunity to go through all this practice. Next week, some of you will be going to the market. I have to do some resumes and preparation of resumes and start doing some. So we all should have an hands-on practice with all you have been doing. So anyone has practice with it? Michael, do you have practice with this and Jira too? Abraham,
Not yet, not yet.
sure, I have to give you some more time. So you have to practice if it's for today. So because of that, I won't spend more time with you. We have to, I want you guys have to do some practical hands-on with it. So because if you don't practice, how are you going to have some issue with it? So in creating some of these stories, because I just bring some practical scenario examples, which you're not going to get from the way in the internet. So that's how to have to practice these stories, create an account and practice it. No one has ever did this or practice it. All right. Frank, do you practice? Abraham, do you practice anyone? Or from
No, I've not done any practice on that.
oh, okay. This is gonna be part of our class practical today. So I fuse or I will give you guys opportunity to create an account to do some practice. So it's gonna be part of the class uh, practical test today. So we will spend most time and then just want to go in overview, a recap, so that you guys will have some few hours of our class to do some practical and some create account and go through the videos within the past so we can do some practice so we can all finish up in the next section. Because this is almost going to the next, I just want to have one-on-one practical
Okay.
scenario, what is happening in the day-to-day activity in your job, because this is what you'll be doing. We're meeting with stakeholders and your scrum master and the product owner, and they're going to be assigning this in your tasks. You're going to pick in for all these things. So going to be some tasks, there's going to be some tasks, there going to be issues, it's going to be creating stories. These are what you're going to do. So since you have the terminal, technical, the terminologies in regards to this, so you should know how it's being done in industry. So that's why I bring this. You can see on the screen, just a practical scenario was how you going to look like in your day-to-day activity at your job. So you should have knowledge about how it's being done. So you're going to Jira Atlassian create account. It's going to be our today practical scenario today. So you guys will have hands-on experience on what the way it is and how it's been created. Try to create your own stories from what we'll be doing today. Create it. If you have an issue, you go through it again, and so you should know how it's being done, because you'll be picking your tasks from the what the product owner has assigned to your team. So it's going to be a part of our theory for today class, which we're going to be doing. So part of the class is going to be for theoretical aspect of it, creating account with Atlassian and start creating stories, creating epics, and start assigning stories to those epic. That's what I've been doing in the past a few sections. So we're going to divide it. It's going to be part of a class. All right. So you guys have a classical scenario of how it's been done. So in the recap, what we did last week, topic, I told you about what component is. As someone tell me what component is, I try to tell you what component is in Jira, how it is being created. Can someone tell me what component is to remember if you want to the video. Anyone that want to speak, I'll mute. I hear myself to speak. What is this component? No one? Component, I explained to you, there's components specific in Jira. What are those components? I told the Jira components, yes.
Component in Jira is to assign some terms or specific story to one particular team.
Yeah, one particular team. So that's it. So the recap, I told that component is what just says. The Jira components are only available in company management projects, and a scope is a scope to the project. They are created in Jira component. So Jira components helps you group issues in your projects around product features, department or work streams. So your team lead or management, your manager or the product owner will want to like assign a particular features, a particular issues to a specific team. So I able to tell you what that is in the last section we had. So those are what they call the Jira components in Jira. So last time we created the Jira components, and now it's been done in Jira. So let me see if you can see up here. Everyone, please confirm what you can see on your screen, please.
I can see the backlog.
Okay. Okay, last recap, we talked about components. I told you component is like your team. This is a specific Jira term. So basically, we provide component to tell or assign some team to it. So like, for example, I told you as a recap, I'm just recap of what we did last time. So for example, there are 5 different teams working on this Jira. And you want to assign few specific story to one particular team. There could be team 1, there could be team 2, there could be team 3, respectively, and so on and so forth. So let's say there are 3 agile teams working for one project. And when you create a user story, if you want to assign to that specific team, you can create teams as components. All right. And you can give the component label to that user story to tell that which team that specific user story belongs to. Okay. And I give an example like you can come here and say this is components, and then you click on components, then you create components here, but you already create the components right here. And this is the component you assign to team 1. By the time we create these components, after creating these components, you go to your issues. We click on issues. You can see that issues are edit box creation, which we are trying to implement. This edit box creation we're trying to implement. Then you can see components, and you assign it to this particular team 1. And I also talked about fix release version. Let me go back to issue. Let me go back to backlog projects. You can see release, all right? Release is that there are particular projects when it's going to be to release, what we are the developing project. We are assigning it to a release date when it's going to be about to be released. So this logging functionality we are creating, we are about to release it on the 26th. What date we assign it to? Or release? Okay, logging release. You can see logging release here. We can see we're starting the sprint on the 9th and you are about to start up to this release. All right. So that's the release version it is. And you can see here it's on, it's not done yet and it's not in progress. It's on to do. All right. It's the to-do list, what you're about to be done. So this release, when it's being released, is in progress. You can assign to progress. Who does that? The product owner does all those things. This is the issue right here. Okay, it's still in to-do state. Okay, so that release is a to-do state. All right, so this is to-do state, and this is the edit box creation login page is to about to release on the 27th of September. Okay, so you can see that it's going to this epic. You can in the real time you can cite yourself or anywhere. If in the real time you see who is assigned to which is product lead. Okay, so that's the release version to be released on this date. And then if we come down here back to the product backlog, and then and you can see a fixed version. You can see you can go to when you want to assign it, you can come to the fixed version. Is that this particular product, this particular application is fixed and tied to this particular date release. So what I'm saying in nutshell is that you see all everything on this product backlog. Once everything is be created, the issues, these stories, yeah, the pointer is being assigned, and the components, the team lead. This release, login release, this fixed is being fixed for this date. This login release or this particular login functionality is fixed to be released on September 27th. So you can create, we can create more user stories. Any user stories you create, we can add it to this fixed version. It's fixed to this version to be released. So know that only this particular edit box creation can be only be fixed to this release date. Okay, so it can be titled to this fixed function. This fixed function, that means at this particular date, all the user stories are fixed to this particular date, release date. That's why it's the fixed version. You can see on release. Okay, so you can see that this date on move to release date, this version, this date, fixed date, release date is on 27th of September. So every user story you created can be tied up to this fixed version. Like today, we're going to create more user stories to see the way it is, what we're going to explain to you, what the product backlog is. So everything is thrown. When all these user stories are being done, you see that this user story is being created and it's been the accepted criteria. We talk about that, the description as it shows to be. We talk about description, and all these things are being tied up, and we give a story pointer, and everything is being assigned. Then it will be on the product owner is going to throw this in the product backlog. So by clicking the release button, let's say you are going to release your product. So you want to release the product in September 27th. Okay. September 27th. And you name this as a login released. Okay. As you can see here. So, and the start dates, you can see we start on the 29th, 9th of 9th of September 2024, and release date is going to be on the 27th of this September 2024. So all this has to be tied up to that fixed date. And when you're clicking ads, you click it, and then it will be shown on the dashboard, on the product log, that this application, this edit box creation will be released on this date. And you can tie your story to that release version. All right. You tie your story to that release version. Okay, you tie your story to this release version. Will be created for you, and you can tie your story to that release version, and you can clearly tell that this user story has to be released into production by this specific date, 26th, by this specific date on the 27th of September. All right, so this is what the release version I'm trying to explain to you past. So I'm now going to other issues. Okay, let me click on these other issues. We can see how to link these details, because your manager can create a release date and give a deadline that login has to go. So this and all your user stories have to link to that release date. So that all the time of release time, you have to go and see like what are the stories and we are going to release. Okay. So from those release dates, you have to go to your stories and see what are those stories that we have to create, what are we to work on, and see which particular date is being released. So we can see how clear the user story is. And on this label, we are providing some labels to tell, right? To tell that this time also automation. You can see that automation and epic link is linked to this epic, which feature of this specific story belongs to, and in which version is going to release in that into the market. Like right now, you can see that the iPhone 16 is on release into the market. So this is already done by the QA people and the product owner. They already know this particular day, this iPhone 16 will be released into the market. So if tomorrow is the release date, so you can see he will just click your manager can do. You just click on onto the link, and here you will see all the user story which are tied up to this epic and to that release, and you will look at the status, and if it's on, this is to do in progress, done. So this is in to do state, and tomorrow is the release date. So you will see all the user stories which are tied up to that release, and you will look at the status. And if something is like in this to do state right here, he will quickly open it and see why this is into to do state. When we are going to release tomorrow, why is this into do state? So the status is still pending. So we have not finished this particular user story. We have not finished creating these edit boxes and make sure it's into production. So if you tie your release version to this user story, there will be one place where you will know that all this user story for that specific release date. If you click on this link, all right, if you click on this link, in general, when you don't have those two in Jira, back in the days, if you don't have those two, you are working with different teams. You have to reach out to each and every team and ask them, are we good for September release? Are all the stories completed for development? So you have to check with them. But now, if you provide proper tagging, I can simply click on this release date, and I can see that what are the user stories going for this release and what is their status. If something is wrong, I can actually open this and see who is the owner. You can see who is the owner of this particular assigned to me. You can see who is the owner of this story, who is this in care of this story. So, and if you want to know the team, you can have a component tied up to that team, who is specific, who is assigned to that particular story. So all these things, because you have a label for it, being tied to that particular is tied to that particular story. So you see who team is working on it. So like this, you can have a proper consolidated version of your of your tie your stories to release. So this is very important because we have to know what kind of stories are going for that specific release. So that is how you can differentiate component and release. And this belongs to a specific team, which is a team one. Okay. So talking about this description, I told you like in story, um, user stories is being assigned. User stories are often expressed in simple sentence structure as follows. As a person, I want to so that I can do this. So as a person, what do I need to do? As a client, I need to log into this application so that I can check my balances, so that I can log into my account. You know, this is how user story is being structured, and this is how we will follow it. Some people do, and why some people don't do that. But in this class, we will follow the way it is done. So this is what they call description, all right, in that stories. As a client, I should be able to access or enter my email and password in the login page so I can log in, so I can check into my account. So this is what this description is all about, adding description to user story. All right. So all the working components, everything should be in the description. So we have to, who does all these things? As I said, this description should be from the customer point of view. So the clients who are using your credit card online application, either client or customer, this is how it should be able to describe the description point of view. So it's coming from the customer. So when you want to describe the usage of this user story, so what exactly this user story is doing here, that we should create and edit what? We should create what? And edit boxes. All right. We should create these edit boxes in this login screen. This edit boxes here, which you have to enter username and password. So what is the point? After we create these edit boxes, clients can enter username and password if you create these edit boxes. So following the way it was written on the syntax, as a person, I want to, so that I can log into my credit card account or to check my balances on my account bank statement. So following the way it was written on the syntax, your description is like, as a client, I want to enter into this application so that I can able to log into my page. I should be able to enter my email and password in the login page so that I can be able to log in. This is the business value from client side. That's how description is being done. So you try to define your description on one single line. On one single line. That's what they call the description. Who does that? You can have the acceptance criteria as shown also. You can have acceptance criteria, but I'll tell you what acceptance criteria is. So that's what description about in your user stories. So talking about the acceptance criteria. So after the description table, who does the acceptance criteria? The description table describing how the user story should look like is done by your product owner. He described all these things. Okay, so the acceptance criteria you can see here on the screen. I hope I'm still visible to you. I hope I'm not.
You are visible to me.
Okay. What of the
Yes, you
rest?
are.
Are you visible? So what I was saying that the discussion is from the customer point of view, what he or she needs to do on this page. That's how it's been described. That's the discussion table. All right. So as a customer, I need to log into the screen. And this I will still define our user story right here for this login screen, right? So you are seeing on that. So then acceptance criteria. You can have acceptance criteria here. Okay, I put acceptance criteria here. We can have acceptance criteria on the basis of, it's going to be another section. Who to accept that? Then you can put all technical, this acceptance criteria all to do with technical point of view. All right. You can put all technical details, technical validation skills, all right, in acceptance criteria. See, I know you guys, I don't know if you still remember when we talk about validation, verification and validation, the V model. Can someone still remember the V model?
Yes.
Yes, can you still remember the V model?
Yeah, the V model verification and validation. I think
Yes.
we do verification also.
No,
Who does
it's
the
that's
validation?
not
Who does the
actually
verification? It's not the STSC.
in SDLC. Remember
Yeah,
SDLC?
yeah.
Michael, do you still remember verification and validation?
Yes, we
A
do.
little bit.
All right, this is I think this is a developer life cycle, this is tester life cycle or something like that. Tester life cycle, and this was for the development life cycle, something like that. So in validation, we have the business requirement documentation, BRS, SRS, high level, and all those sort of coding. So I told you this is this is the verification stage. This is verification SDLC. Yeah, this is validation. Validation is you are doing this when you are doing this thing in a static manner, dynamic. You are validating that what you have done. That's what talks about the system testing, integration testing, and all those stuff. Remember your component testing. This is a valid. Okay, coding, actual code for testing. Okay, just a sketch. All right. So you can see in this. Hope I'm not missing. I hope you can see the screen on the paint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so you can see when I'm talking about this description table, when I'm talking about description table here, as a client, I should be able to say this is coming from the customer point of view, this is coming from business people, just like PRS documentation, you are doing verification. All right. So validation in that aspect is all to do with the acceptance criteria. If this edit boxes should accept @ username and password, frank_abraham@gmail.com. Should we accept @ email is accepted or not? If the customer put in @gmail.com, should we throw an error message? Error handling is the process we need to consider. This all to do with the acceptance criteria. Is it accepted? Product owner, we are the testers, we are the developers. Because on the website, you can just enter abraham.abraham125 password and you log in. So it should be your email address is accepted. Okay, must you accept email address? And also, if you want to put Abraham125 accepted. Abraham, okay, _Frank@gmail.com accepted. But some website don't need that. So if @ is all to do with handling of error, this is what the product owner does. Okay, it is the product owner duty to create user story based upon the epics, and he or she will provide one line of description. You can see here, one line of description. So thereafter, he or she will sit with entire Scrum team and decide the acceptance criteria. The product owner does this one. It's a business coming from business people. I told you back time when we were doing the Scrum and all those stuff about Scrum, what is Scrum, and I told the product owner and the business analyst people, the profile looks alike, but it's not the same. Though they look alike, but it's not the same. Business analyst, product owner, it's different. But the sounds alike, but it's not the same. Okay, So what the product owner is going to do, the disclosure criteria, the description criteria is coming from the product owner. He owns the product. So this is what it does. The product owner does all these things. It is the duty of the product owner to create user story based upon the epics, and he or she will provide the line of the description. All right, what the customer need to do. Customer need to log in this page so they can be able to do this. That's what he needs to describe, so we can see what actually we test and we have to develop. So we describe all these things. So thereafter, after describing this acceptance, the description for that particular story, he or she will sit with the entire Scrum team and decide the what. Then come the acceptance criteria. We are seeing this user story, creating the edit boxes. Just create all these edit boxes. We are doing all these things. So he or she will sit down with the entire Scrum team and decide the acceptance criteria for this particular user story. When I say acceptance criteria, that means what to add so that I can accept and pass the story. Here. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You can see the edit boxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I say acceptance criteria, that means what to add so that I can accept and pass the story. I should be able to enter values in these edit boxes, you can see. And if I try to enter specific characters, it should not allow. So that is an acceptance. That is the technical discussion, right? Like how do you handle error handling for that edit boxes? For those I tell classes yesterday for Java class, I told you about section handling in Java. Okay, although you do automation, so this I leave that's for manual test, that's for automation guys. So it's about manual testing. So this all just to give you an high level. So that's an acceptance criteria. That's an acceptance that is in the technical discussion. Like how do you undo error handling for that this edit box you can see on the screen. So if I don't provide this frank_abram@gmail.com at all in this email, it should throw an error saying provide valid ID. I hope you guys have seen that in day-to-day logins in your different applications, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's what it means. And if I provide passwords which are not with our guidelines, should I throw error? So technical details will be discussed within Agile Scrum team later. But when product owner creates this user story, after talking to the business people, he or she will not have technical implementation from business points. They will write this user story description here. As a client, I should be able to enter my email and password in the login page so that I can log in. That's what they know. They don't know about the business aspect of it. So this acceptance criteria is all to do with technical aspects, right? But from validation, this side, this is the business people. Remember the BRS, business requirement specification, SRS. Sorry for my writing. You see that? Sorry for your writing though. You know what validation is. You can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, BRS documentation, SRS, high level design, low level design. Frank, you can see that, right? You know what that is. Okay, these are for
Yes.
business people until it gets to the coding that are used for um, system testing. We have here, we have integration testing, we have system testing, we have unit testing, we have what else? Remind me again. We have, what do we
Component
have here?
testing. Component.
We have a system test. We have the first one is a unit testing. We have component testing. Then what else?
Integration testing.
Integration testing. Then what else again?
I think
What
user
else, guys?
acceptance testing. I think user
Acceptance testing.
acceptance. Yes.
Yes, that's it as the final phase on user acceptance testing. So we have unit testing, we have unit testing, you have the component testing, we have the system test, integration testing, they have the system testing, you have the acceptance testing. So these are to do with that from that validation perspective, how to put in validations, how to write the alignments. Okay, so this is the acceptance criteria to about. So that's acceptance is what to do with validation. If you should put an other rate, you should throw an error or not. It was the acceptance by the word technical point of view. The business description is how to do with the business point of view. The product owner does all those things. So in accept, am I able to accept this particular thing when the client is able to enter or does not enter this other rate or Gmail or whatever, or 125 or the underscore special character, is they allow it to shoot to try ever. So those have to do with the acceptance criteria, and that's what we do the validations, how to write alignment description. So everything will go as part of the acceptance criteria, and that should be discussed along with the whole team. That should be discussed along with the whole of the team. One that this component is assigned to create this particular application. So that should design this. You should accept with the what the whole team. So that will be discussed as part of the backlog refinement grooming that we have to go into right now. This is going to be led into our next topic right now. It's going to talk about the backlog grooming. So this should accept this or not, this should accept that or this. Okay, so the product owner put a business and he will make, okay, so you see that from this is the product owner, he does all these things. So the product owner puts a business and he will make sure that he's tied up stories to this epic, to the right epic. These stories is tied up to his right epic, and this acceptance criteria, he should put his acceptance criteria, he should accept other rate or should not accept other rates, or one-to-one special characters are not allowed. You should that you can bear me witness, you can see that in the day-to-day when you create an account or trying to log into your application. So this has to do related to what backlog grooming, which we're going to discuss in a few minutes. So we also talk to with the business people. The product owner will also talk to he or she will talk to the business people to know when he is going to release this particular application, this particular product. And he will also assign to his own team, okay? Because you assign to your own team because every team have one product owner, all right? So he or she will assign this to his specific team and he will leave it by writing the description for this particular my team. This is what my description is all about. So all these stories will go into what the product backlog. Product backlog. All right. I remember when I was talking about sprints, sprint planning, we have what product backlog and what business capabilities and restructurings, and we have business value, coming by business value. So these are what is going right now. Okay. So when everything is being assigned, we put everything to the product backlog. Then comes the grooming. Before I explain what is grooming is all about, we call it we call it what is backlog grooming and backlog refinement. Some people call it refinement, backlog refinement, or backlog grooming. These are what happened in Agile Scrum. So what is it now? That's the next thing we want to discuss right now. So everything is assigned. Okay. The product owner already groom all these things. I mean, the stories, we assigned the release date for these stories, and we did a lot in this particular story, just for this edit box creation for these stories. We did a lot with these dates, and it's tied to this epic, and it's tied to this epic we see here. So now, what is backlog grooming? What is grooming? Can someone tell me what is grooming? What do you mean by grooming?
To train.
I talk about flowering plants. Be vocal, guys. That much time. I don't want you guys time to.
It's to train or to build up.
Okay. So he will assign everything towards to the product backlog through every stories. Okay. Multiple story. Okay, before I explain to you the backlog grooming, let's maybe in the credit cards, these credit cards we are trying to develop. These are okay, we have already created one story, chunks of codes, which is stories we are trying to implement to build up this size. Yeah, grooming say to grow or to maintain. Okay, that's fine. That's grooming. Okay, in place, put them in place. Like, okay, maintain or put them in place. So we can create issues like, okay, we're creating issues, which issue are stories, okay? This is our story, one story is done, and we are release date is going to be on the 27th of September. And we already done that. Having done that, we need to start grooming our stories. Okay, before we start talking about grooming, to further explain what you mean by this backlog refinement or backlog grooming, we have to do what? We have to create more stories. We have to assign more stories to this epic. Okay, this is a whole epic. Login creation, right? Am I correct? This is our story. Develop
Yes.
login module, yeah, login page. So
Mhm.
let's create more stories, okay? Let's create more stories. We can give any stories like what you can see here. We have a virtual, we have a what do you have here? We have a virtual keyboard. This is another story. We have a Texas right here. We have a drop down. When you click on this drop down page, we see a lot of maybe you want to view statement, log into statement directly from here. So these are all stories, okay? So let's start. And again, this is a shortcut to how to create stories. That's the shortcut how to create stories. You can see that. So let's create more stories. Anyone can give any story from what you have on the screen there? So let's go ahead and create more. So if you want to create, this is a shortcut, okay? This is a shortcut how to create stories. We just click here, create issues, and go into the main box right here. You can just create issues here. So let's create more stories from what we have here. Okay, give me more stories you can create. Anyone? Abraham, Sam, Mike. You can see the screen. Let me open the screen. You can create box. Let's just create more stories so that I see what backlog is. With backlog, grooming, and refinement. For what you can see on the screen here, many stories can we create here. So as I told you, can create story. Just click on this, create stories, and you create story. That's okay. Let me see from what we have on the screen. Let's see. Okay, we already created edit box creation and all those stuff. So let's click on this. We can create more stories. So let's say, okay, this one is going to be ensure flowing before logging in. Okay, let's say this one going to be description. Description about login page. All right, so you press enter. A story has been created. You see that description about login page. So this is going to be description is on that story. Okay, so we're not going to further start creating this login release or apply it to it. You know how to do that, right? Or should we do that again? I'd also quickly and assign stories to assign pointer to that. We have done that in the previous one. You see how it's been done. So this is the same thing you're going to do for the other one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a shortcut how to create stories. So we are taking chunks from this particular this particular epic. All right, we are going to break them down into different stories. All right, breaking them down into different stories. So we have picked description. This is a description. All this is description how to log in, right? These are all description. So users need to know how to log in. Use URL on the website bar on the internet browser, enter this, do not enter login. So these are description to login. So, and again, this is gonna be on this one. Abraham, what is this? This is gonna be. What should we give this one as?
The footer again.
Okay, yeah, the footer links. Yeah, this is gonna be footer links. So creating footer links, we say footer links. Footer links, which we okay, let's say footer links. Footer links which we need to implement, right? So there will be footer links, right? You click enter, all right? So our footer links, that's one stories. All these user stories are chunks of what? All these user stories are one chunks of works which are ultimately satisfies our words, the whole epic. Certifies our epic of creating login page, the login module. Okay, we will do that in small pieces. All right, so we can, and let's just put more things. Maybe when you log in, that's on that epic anyway. Maybe that's on that epic story. So let us add more things. This is a virtual. This is going to be virtual keyboard, right? It's going to be virtual keyboard. This is another story. In case maybe someone don't have a keyboard to type in, so you can type in from here, take it from there. That's a virtual keyboard. So you can be virtual keyboard. Let's say this one will be virtual keyboard implementation. Virtual keyboard implementation in what? In login page. All right. So that's on that story. So, and then what else again? The
starting my account. Have you done that?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's login. Right. Login submit with job. Okay, login submit. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's add that as a story. So we say login submit button with drop down. Login submit button with drop down. So that's on that epic. So we can add more epic. So let's just okay, let's make okay. What if we log into this? But this is not part of the story anyway. This is not part of the epic. I'll just pick some things here, footer links. Okay, let's say like you log into this page now, you see the credit card dashboard, the credit card statement, the header page, maybe the header page, like when you log in, that's on that epic. Like I'm taking from now, this it doesn't belong to this epic anyway. This from that epic for that should be for credit card dashboard. Okay. When you log into that dashboard, what you're gonna see on that dashboard, like something like when you log into this dashboard, you see when you log into a dashboard, you see the header, right? You see the person's head, the header page. You can upload the pictures and all the stuff like that. Then you see your email, your name, your balance of a credit card. So all those features, you see a lot of things on the dashboard. You see the dates, the credit card dates due, all those stuff you can see on the dashboard for this Epic itself. Okay. This one I'm about to do doesn't belong to this Epic, but I just want to just further explain to you what the grooming is. So let's say maybe when you log into that page, when you log into the page, what you're going to see on that page when you log into the credit card page, you can see account summary, right? You can see account summary. Let's say account summary section, account summary section creation. Like what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to take another story, considering how our dashboard reduced like, okay, I'm not considering this particular one. I just want to add more so they can be able to explain to you further how your groom is looked at. So when you see the dashboard again, what you can see, let's say you can see pre-populate data into account section. Pre-populate data into account section. Maybe you see what you can see on the dashboard. Okay, your credit card, you can also see your recent activity, like what you just spent. Okay, let's say recent activity. You can see that recently activity or recent activity. Recent activity section. You can see that activity section on your credit card dashboard. And also remember your welcome page. You can see your name. Welcome section too is there. There's another story there. Welcome section with name and with name in the dashboard. In dashboard page, right? What I'm doing, I think you guys have seen experience in that. I have some, right? Am I correct or wrong? Let's add up the vocal.
It all depends on the design. Sometimes the population, sometimes in app is different from desktop when it comes to the dashboard and all those things. So it all depends on the deployment.
Yeah, see. It depends on mobile apps also, but that should be on the acceptance criteria too. But I'll try to, I want to see the image, like what it looks like, credit card dashboard application, like. Okay, you can see some have some cards, some credit card if you want to apply for more credit cards in your dashboard too. When you input your data, you see you can apply for these cards. You can apply for more cards, you are qualified to upgrade. So let's add that to your story. Let's say footer cards in dashboard page. Let's say footer cards. Footer cards in dashboard page. So let's leave it for how many do you have? 9 user stories. Okay. So that is it. Now you have successfully created user stories. Product owner does that for us. Okay. And they do all those things. Everything is will be on to-do state, right? We are all done all these things. So I'm trying to explain to you what backlog grooming is. So after the product owner has raised assigned, write a lot of user stories, specifically based by complexity of our work. Okay, we are going to create our edit box creations. We have all these things implemented, right? 3, 4, 5, 11. So it shows all these things. These are 10 issues. These are 10 of the 11s here. Okay, so what he does is that he assign this thing and throw them in what they call the product backlog. So all these are in what in from Shredit. From Shredit, you see everything here is on our product backlog. So now we have successfully create user stories. Product owner does that for us. He or she will create an high-level business description. High-level business description, like I showed to you, description for all these user stories, and he will throw it into what? The backlog. When your backlog is filled up, all right, you can see that when your backlog is filled up with sufficient amount of work, there is terminology called backlog refinement or backlog grooming in Scrum process. Now, in this meeting, all Agile team and the product owner will sit down and groom these stories. That is, they will sit and discuss each and every story for the project. This is one of the most important meeting in any Scrum because this decides the story sizing, creating acceptance criteria, and adding subtasks to the story. Last week, I told you about what the sizing of the story is. You can see the story sizing and everything, story pointer. So this is about the sizing of the story. Now, once you groom the story completely, when we groom these stories completely, now we have to size the story based on its complexity. In Agile, every story should be assigned some points based on its complexity. If it is 1 pointer, 3 pointer, or 5 points. Generally, we have our numbers 1, 3, 5, 8. It will go in that way. Ideally, per person, people generally consider a 1 pointer per day. If a person is working 3 days on a story alone, then this can be given a 3 pointer alone. All right. So that is efforts of 1 person per day is considered as 1 pointer. But this is not a benchmark of calculation, or depends on industry. But ultimately, based upon the complexity, we have to size this, and this all happen in the grooming meeting. So when we say groom the story, we should make sure that the story has all the necessary detail to work on and business description, and also the size of that particular story is working on it. Effort, like how much effort the story has to be taken to complete its work. So, and the sizing also, who should decide the sizing? Who should decide the sizing? This is most important Agile Scrum interview questions, because I want you guys to know how this is being done in the industry. So you're asking interview questions. Who decide the sizing? Anyone who decide the size of these stories? The Scrum Master? The product
Scrum
owner?
Master.
The product owner.
Scrum Master.
Frank?
Scrum Master.
Mike? Ikem? So who decide the Scrum Master? Say Scrum Master, product owner. Everyone, this is one of the interview questions. Frank, who decide the sizing? So now this is mostly the important agile scrum interview question. Who decide the size of this story? Because everyone have to sit down and decide per day. I told you per one person working day, 1 pointer, 2 pointer, depend. Although it's a benchmark. So everyone in the team has to provide the points. All right. So majority of the size number will be taken into the consideration because they said majority carry the vote. So who decide the sizing? Not the scrum master, not the product owner, but everyone in the team decide the size of the story. So let's say there are 5 people in the team. So everyone at a time should raise their hands to tell how many points is taken, or they will have some cards. They do some information on the card, like write 2, 3, 8, and show it up together. And Scrum Master role is here to read all of these points. All right, from all the people to see what is the majority number we have. If everyone in the team anonymously give 3, then they say this story is sized with what? 3 points. All right, 3 points. Give it 3 points. I hope you guys are following.
Yes.
Okay, if someone has given 2, they will ask, why do you have to give 2 points? Why do you have to give 2 points here? Why is this only 2 points? Why do you think that this takes less effort to just build an edit boxes? You have to assign to the database, you have to connect to the database, you have to do the front end and back end, developer. So why do you have to give it 2 points? Why do you think that this takes less effort? If someone gives 8, then we again ask, why do you think it's 8? If people are convinced with the explanation of what a person gives on 8, whether 8 or 2 or 3, then everyone we go with 8. Again, we go with 8. And probably as we check it, we sign it, check mark it. If they don't convince people, obviously we argue saying that no, this cannot be 8. This cannot be 8. All right, this cannot be 8. They can be done in very simple way. Is a 3-pointer, and we check 3 points. So like the thing we discuss, and ultimately everyone comes into an agreement with one single sizing point, and that sizing point will be given. We assign 3. Okay, so ahead, and so you go ahead, we'll do what, and check mark the 3 and give the 3 pointer to be what, 3.5, and submit. Okay, so you can ask your product owner to give the prototype or wireframe to see how this edit box is. Okay, I showed that to you last week. We can come back to this, like maybe you're talking about this edit box, it's right here. You can come to this prototype, the comments. If anyone in our team is not, maybe you can say other rates. I didn't put in the real-time words, you can see my name is there, but anyone that is being assigned, added to the team, you can see his name, you can see at Abraham. Okay, can add, something like that, other ways. So the product can also assign the product and put the what they have here, attachment here. Okay, you can have an attachment here and put the way the edit boxes should look like. So every part of the team should see that. Okay. So see the attachments here. So the product owner can ask you can also product owner give the prototype, right, or wireframe to see how this edit box should look like on the page, and then your product owner can attach a screenshot to the story itself. All right. So it's the description by product owner. Then the acceptance criteria. The acceptance criteria here now. What you do right here is that. Sorry, am I too fast? Anyone have any question? Any question? Please, vocal.
No question for me.
Carry on, it's okay.
All right. So acceptance criteria now, you should set create two edit boxes. Create two edit boxes. Make sure you have error messages when you enter a valid email and password. Invalid email and password. Special characters. Special characters are not allowed. Mobile. Sam was saying about mobile. So mobile application is compatibility, right? Mobile compatibility should be applied or not. So mobile compatibility should be allowed or not. Anything you can just say no. So that question should be allowed or not. So in that case, here you can add maybe the test architecture that is on mobile automation, maybe it's on leave or anything. So here, if the acceptance criteria is allowed, that mobile compatibility should be allowed, then you can reach out to your test architecture right here. You can put here, you can say at maybe standing is the test architecture. You can say at standing. You can say please is mobile compatibility allowed in this story, because you don't know, maybe they have a lot of stories to work on. So is this still allowed on this story right now? So you should reach out to him. Maybe he or she can add the comment and attach your screenshot to the story. So for example, in case of this writing comment, maybe there's one person who can tell if a mobile view can be done in the story. As Sam just said, if it depends on the mobile. So, and that person is a mobile, he or she is a technical architecture. Maybe today he's on leave. All right. He's on leave. You can just put the comment section. You can say insert other rates and please clarify. You can say please clarify. Let me use that word here. Let me say clarify. Please clarify if mobile. Please clarify if this requires mobile view compatibility or mobile. If this, please clarify if this require mobile compatibility. All right. So that's why you just send to the test architecture that is a mobile architecture. So you should know if this story will go for that mobile compatibility. So then he will receive the email with this comment so that he can open up and come back to the story and give its input. So maybe it's okay or something like that. All right. So that's how you have to comment to that. So you can again put save. All right. So if you want to add more, you can come here and say add, or maybe add the team or team or something like that. At all QA team. Okay, the person want to replace all QA team. And you also said it's allowed. The mobile, or You can say the mobile compatibility is not allowed at this source, so that again, everyone will get an email with this answer. So all this communication can help for us to track the story details, and that we can do as part of the comment. So like this, we have this backlog grooming on every sprint. Okay, so you can say at all, we have enough at this time. Mobile compatibility is not allowed. So everyone in the email will receive all the answers. So that's what the comment section is being done. So I don't want to waste much of the time. I want to give the assignment today, so you can start practicing this thing before we start doing the backlog grooming. Start going to the sprint. So I'll just give you in details, in the high level, how it's being groomed. Okay, so that's what is done in the backlog grooming in terms of what we have today, the business define user stories in business values. All right, so that's what we have for today. So use these few minutes to get out. I don't want to proceed more. I want you to like create an account on Jira and start implementing all this in the real-time world, right? This is how it is. So you can justify anything. This is how it's done in the industry. There's nothing way about it. Nothing else. It's Jira and it's done. You can't go get anything from this in the class. I'm trying to bring more effort so I can to explain to you or how it's been done in the industry. Okay. So what you're gonna do right now, the few minutes we have in this class, I'm gonna give you time for you to like create an account with Jira and start implementing all this. To write your own stories. Get your hand dirty before we start going into the sprint. All right, we are still on sprint backlog. Who does all this thing? The product owner. We chose all these things. The stories. These are all the stories we have in the product backlog. We are not going to go into the sprint backlog now. The sprint outside the sprint, according by the business values I told you. So all right, so I'm going to close the one recording for today. So use this few minutes we have so we can also decide. We will decide is team sizing, Scrum Master or the product owner. Who will decide the size of the story, the Scrum Master or the product owner?
Everyone.
Everyone in the team. We can hear that. So everyone in the team decide and the majority carry the vote. So guys, I'm going to end it for today. So you have a good weekend. So use this opportunity, use this time we have for the class to do your own, get your hands dirty on the Atlassian Jira software. Get your own user account and start implementing what we had did in the class. All right. So next week starts, we're going to end up this management aspect of Jira and start our sprint, and that's it. You have knowledge about all these things. You have the terminologies, you know what sprint is, you know what user story is, and so we finish up next week. All right. Any question before any class? Michael, any question? Frank? Nick, you have any question?
No, for now. I kind of joined late, so I'm just going to wait for the recording if that's possible.
Okay. All right. What we have some minutes to end the class. So those minutes, those time used to create an account to financial, and then maybe start creating and get your hands dirty with it so you can know what it is. Because this is how it's done in the industry, this is how they ask you. It's almost interview questions, you know how it's being done. So if you know more about how it's been done, like there's no truth about this how it is. So you're able to say more a lot as if you are already working in it. So okay. All right, guys, I'll end it right
Thank
now.
you.
So have a good weekend.